I'm trying.
Hello, family. We are here at the Energy Shack Juice Bar and the Whisk Gluten-Free Bakery, and we are going to be talking about intermittent fasting and the truth about it, the truth behind it. So this is part 2. So I hope you will be able to call your friends and get everyone to join us, because this is going to be quite the seminar. So we started with last week. We did part 1. Today we'll do a little bit of a review. Our internet was really bad last week, so it should be much better today. But we definitely want to unpack this truth about intermittent fasting, because there is so much misconception about intermittent fasting that I think we really need to understand. So I don't want to jump right into it until we definitely make sure that everyone's jumping in and joining us. And welcome to those who have come on. And it's going to be a part 2 of intermittent fasting. So this is very important. So before we get to it, I'm just going to start with a little commercial. While we're waiting for everybody to jump in and jump on. I don't know if you know this, but we've got an expo coming up. And this expo is going to be on May 4th. I'm going to share my screen here because it is super fantastic. So let me just share this. You guys have got to get your tickets. Do you know that it's only in advance, $15 at the door? Like, why would you not buy this in advance? So here is our expo. Welcome to those. We're just getting started here, but watch this clip. So for those who are coming on, let us know where you are coming from. We would love to you can put in the chat your city that you are coming from. We'd love to say hello to you, or your name, I'm wondering. Let's just see, make sure that you guys can see the video. It's a little glitchy, but I'll talk through it. So basically, with our Go Plant-Based Expo, it is phenomenal. Basically, we are going to have, or showcasing, many local vendors that have plant-based options, whether it's a restaurant or whether it's going to be at skincare, hair care. There's going to be a kids zone. There's going to be free blood pressure checks. It is just seminars, cooking demos, $5, people. So really, that's something that you will want to get on. And you can go to Culture Ticks, and that is where you will see. The ticket purchase. It's on Eventbrite, but Culture Ticks is really the place to be at. So this is the expo, and again, it's going to be May 4th, 2025, just a couple weeks from now. And it's really going to be a fantastic, phenomenal event. So just let this play. I don't think you can hear the sound, but that's okay. You can see there was so many vendors, incredible products, lots to choose from, free samples everywhere. It was really amazing. And we had some live cooking demos. We also had some talks. We saw heard some great testimonies. It was amazing. So this is again on May 4th, in just a couple weeks. And this is going to be at the JC Convention Center in Scarborough. So it's really just about 2 minutes from the Energy Shack, actually. It's right at Ellesmere, right as soon as you cross over McCowan going to the East End. Yeah, it's really amazing, and lots of raffle prizes, lots of free samples. Yeah, it was phenomenal. We had hundreds of people there, but it wasn't crowded. So we got a bigger place this year. And we're just going to be showcasing so much delicious food, prizes, health talks. Yeah, it's something that you really don't want to miss, especially all those free samples. Yeah, have a look at that. So these guys are coming all the way from Montreal, and they are bringing their chica. They make an incredible plant-based alternative, and it's not made with veggie meat. It's actually just made out of nuts. Yeah, it's so wonderful, and the crowd is amazing. Everybody was just in amazing spirits. So please make sure you get on Culture Tix and get your tickets. All right. So I'm glad you guys are here. We're going to start part 2 of our intermittent fasting. But first, I'm going to do want a little bit of engagement. So first, I'm going to first, I just want to review a little bit of what we talked about last time. Okay. So we talked about last time the benefits of intermittent fasting and also the dangers. Now, if you chat, I made sure that it was not disabled this time. If you guys are on the chat, if you guys were here for part 1, just put a Y for yes in the chat. Let me know if you were here for part 1. And that way I don't want to go through all the information twice, but I do know that the internet was a little bit sketchy last time. It was intermittent, actually. Sorry about that. I need my agua. So put in the chat, let me know where you're from, and also just throw a Y in there if you actually were here last time. I'd like to know. That way I can make sure that I'm not repeating too much information or expounding on information that you didn't get to hear last time. So intermittent fasting is actually, which somebody brought up last time, is this a lifestyle? Yes, it's a lifestyle when done properly. Okay, so that's the key. It's a lifestyle when done properly. So let's go through this. What is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting it works by prolonging the period when your body has burned through your calories consumed during your last meal and actually begins to burn fat. That's how it works, okay? So you're trying to push your body to a place where it's actually burning fat for fuel and no longer glucose. Now, usually you need more than 24 hours to do that process. But if your calories are right in your eating time, you could get to that in your intermittent fasting time. So that's really important to know and understand. So what are the methods of this? Again, just to review if you were here, but you have the 16-8 method, and then you also have the 5-2 method. So the 16-8 is the most popular and effective. And this means that for 16 hours, you are not eating. And for 8 hours, you are eating. That's what the intermittent fasting is. It's also this 5-2 method where you have healthy eating for 5 days and then a major caloric reduction for 2 days. So why do you want to do this? Because you're trying to burn fat for fuel. You are trying to get your body to not use stored glucose, but to use stored fat for fuel. And this is great because you will reduce your cholesterol. You will also get rid of some stored glucose, and your toxins are stored in your fat cells. So that's super awesome because now you are able to actually release toxins as well. And the bonus of all of that is that you will also end up giving your digestive system, all of your digestive organs, a really good break. So that's why it's so important. So I just want to go through again briefly is that intermittent fasting benefits are huge, but most people are doing it the wrong way. That's what I think we just don't seem to understand is that we're doing it the wrong way, most people. So many times as you are living, working, functioning, We have a lot of metabolic waste. Not many times we have a lot of metabolic waste in our system. Now, your body has the ability to get rid of that. It usually happens when we're sleeping, but throughout the day, there's a lot of waste buildup. If you don't give your body a break of eating, it doesn't have a chance to clear away the waste and toxins. So that's why it's very important to give your body a break of eating so it can get a chance to catch up. You will notice that you think better. You'll notice that your memory increases. It's really incredible. Review journals showed that intermittent fasting actually increased the growth rate of nerve cells, which obviously is going to benefit your brain function. A chemical, a hormone, a brain-derived nootropic factor, a BDNF, that chemical is actually deficient in those that have depression, a lot of anxiety. And when you go through fasting periods, that BDNF is actually produced. So lots of incredible benefits for intermittent fasting if it's done right. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. So we also talked about the fasting benefits for heart health. You know, every time you digest food, your heart has to work very, very, very hard. So of course, our body's used to that. But imagine the break that you give your system when you actually don't have any food to digest. It's incredible. And if you are drinking good water during that fasting time, you thin out the blood. And if the eating period as well, it's amazing. The body goes through such a healing state. And then remember what we talked about. Remember that while you're fasting and going through intermittent fasting or fasting period, you burn fat for fuel. So you actually reduce your cholesterol by doing this kind of intermittent fasting. But again, I have to emphasize that we have to do it the right way, the right hours. The other benefits that we talked about is that when you give your body a break of food for these 16-hour periods, you will actually increase your performance. So I was reading about a study of mice who fasted for 16 hours, showed that they were able to actually have better endurance on their running wheel than the mice who didn't fast. So, and I noticed that all the time. I noticed that when I finish if I do longer periods of fasting, like 24 hours, the next day, I can do more exercise. I can go longer. I'm faster. I'm stronger. We think that in order to exercise and perform well, we need tons of protein. That's part of it, but your digestive system needs a break, and too much protein actually starts to tax your kidney and liver. So you don't want to constantly overdo it on the protein and overconsume on the protein. In fact, taking breaks, even when you're athletic, is very, very important. And intermittent fasting done the right way can also do that. So the other great benefit is blood sugar reduction. Because remember what we talked about at the beginning is that when you go through intermittent fasting or fasting in general, you actually burn fat for fuel rather than glucose. So when you're doing this right, you will actually burn stored glucose. And you know, if you leave stored glucose unused, it will convert into, does anybody know? It will convert into cholesterol. So cholesterol is not just an issue with I'm eating too much meat. It could be too much carbs that have turned into glucose, and then you're not active enough to be burning this glucose. So intermittent fasting helps to improve your glucose levels. I do this every time for all of my diabetics. I don't know why chat is disabled for this live stream. I apologize. I tried to fix it before, but I'm glad you're here with us, and I'm sorry you can't engage. But intermittent fasting will improve your glucose levels. So we've been doing what we do for more than 12 years, and I have never had a diabetic on my program whose blood sugar did not go down. We haven't had it fail in 12 years. Honestly. And if you think about what's happening in the medical system and they're given medication, is glucose levels improving? Might look like it, but what happens when I take away that toxic medication? We actually didn't fix anything. The glucose levels are the same, if not higher. Because the truth is, and I know that medication, I'm not knocking it completely. There is a place for Western medicine, but type 2 diabetes, friends, it's a lifestyle issue. So when we fix the lifestyle, you shouldn't have diabetes anymore. And that's what we do. And part of that is fasting. If you have a lot of inflammation, joint pain, arthritis, intermittent fasting gives your body the break. Whenever there's joint pain, whenever you have inflammation, your body sends inflammation cells to that area to try to heal and repair. But when they're constantly called there, they will literally eat away at the tissues. Well, what is constantly causing that joint pain? Most of the time, it's the food we eat. So when you take a break of the food, you take a break of the waste, you will find that your joint pain should decrease and your mobility should increase. Okay, so it's also joint pain and inflammation is not just in our joints. Inflammation, many people have inflammation in their stomach gut. And when there's inflammation in the stomach gut, well, that's really trouble. Now you can't digest anything properly. So imagine when you give yourself a wonderful break of digestion. Wow, now we're in an incredible healing place. So intermittent fasting gives those digestion organs, your stomach lining, a really good break. But I'm going to sound like a broken record, if anybody knows what a record is anymore, but it has to be done the right way. It's also proven that mice that fasted every other day had a 13 increase in their lifespan. Can you believe that? Fasting actually improves life and longevity because your organs get a break. Almost every organ is engaged when we are digesting. So as you give your organs a break, when you do more fasting, you will find that your organs last a lot longer when they're not constantly working, right? You don't want to overwork yourself. You shouldn't overwork your organs. We need breaks of food. So having a lifestyle of intermittent fasting is extremely healing. So we also talked about intermittent fasting having benefits for you for blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, diabetes, inflammation, longevity. It really covers everything, including cancer. Now, this is what you came here for. Everybody's talking about intermittent fasting, but not most of the population are not doing it the right way. And I'm not saying this is Carolyn's way. I'm going to take you to the human body, and you could tell me, you don't even have to have a science degree or be a nutritionist. You tell me by looking at the circadian rhythm, when do you think these meals should come in, and when do you think you should give your body a break? So let's look at the circadian rhythm. When you wake up 6, 7 o'clock, that is your sharpest blood pressure because your cortisol is starting to rise. Your metabolism starts to rise in the morning. 10 o'clock, you have the highest alertness. At noon, your metabolism is the fastest. You have the best coordination. You have all of your energy and all of your stamina in the early parts of the day. Now you will notice that after the hours of 3:30, things start to slow down. Metabolism slows down and your blood pressure starts to go up. Your body is getting ready. The temperature of your body goes up. Your melatonin starts to secrete. What's happening here? Your body's getting ready to sleep. And after 4 o'clock, your pancreas starts taking a break and produces less insulin. In the evening and while we sleep, we have the least amount of insulin. And our metabolism is the absolute slowest in the evening than it is compared to noon or in the morning. So what does this tell me? This tells me something very simple, that in the hours that I'm active is when I should be eating. And in the hours that I'm slowing down is when I should be fasting. Intermittent fasting today has this idea where everybody, skips breakfast, eats at 12, and then again at 7 or 8 o'clock. But since digestion's the slowest in the evening, what sense does it make to put food in there? Because then you sleep on your food. And while you're sleeping, that's when your body's supposed to be healing and repairing. It's supposed to be restorative, but it can't be. It's no wonder it's easy to skip breakfast because nobody's hungry. So following the circadian rhythm is actually the way that we should be intermittent fasting. So what does this actually look like? Well, the first thing we need to know and understand is that digestion requires the most energy of the human body. So if while you're sleeping, your body is digesting, it doesn't have the energy to balance your hormones, strengthen your immune system, heal your inflammation in your knee. So the last thing you want is to have food in your stomach while you are sleeping. That's huge and very important. So in order to fix this, what you're going to want to do is have digestion active during your active times. So this brings us to seeing, what does proper intermittent fasting look like? Okay, so now we're really at the part 2 for those that were here for part 1. So what does intermittent fasting look like? Well, when you wake up, you should have lots of water. Your body gets dehydrated while you're sleeping. So you should have 2 cups of water. If you don't have issues with lemon, some people get a little bit of burning in their throat with lemon, but if you don't have issues with lemon, lemon is actually healing for the liver and the kidneys, incredible for the kidneys. So you should start with some healthy lemon water. Make sure it's warm. Your body's very warm in the morning. So as you wake up, have 2 glasses, 16 ounces of warm water, okay? That's going to be the first thing that you do. Next, after you have 2 glasses of warm water, this is in the morning, friends. So I'm so sorry, the chat is disabled, but you should go into breakfast. I know it's an age-old, saying that breakfast should be the biggest meal of the day. That's not old. There's nothing new under the sun. That is the truth, okay? So you might look at that chia parfait or that smoothie bowl or that oatmeal with the fruits. So which one would be a breakfast healthy option? Option 1, 2, or 3? I'm going to tell you. Actually, none of them. Although there was some healthy components to that, the proper breakfast so that you are having the right types of food in that 8-hour eating window. It's very important. If you eat garbage, if you eat processed food, if you eat high calories during that 8 hours, you will not get the benefits of the 16 hours of fasting. That 8 hours has to be done right in order for the benefits of the 16 hours to work. Because if the calories are too high in your 8-hour eating window, you will not go into fat burning mode. But if you eat this way, your fiber is high, your calories are low, and you will go into fat burning mode. Now, if you are underweight or you have other health issues, make sure you just reach out to me directly, because we do consultations and we would love to help you do this properly, customize it for your health needs. But the idea is that you don't put the fruits on top of the porridge or on top of the chia. Fruits like an empty stomach. Eat your fruits, and then right after have your millet porridge or your gluten-free bread with some of your nuts. There's way too many raisins on here. That's like diabetic problem right away. But generally, you should have your fruits first, and then and only then do you go into your breakfast item. Okay? Now, after you've eaten, you are then going to wait 1 hour and then drink water and only water. Don't snack. During your 8-hour eating window, there should just be 2 meals. Breakfast, and friends, after you've had breakfast, you're going to have lunch. but lunch should be like dinner size. Okay. So maybe it's a veggie burger and a gluten-free bun, or maybe it's a chickpea stew, or maybe it's a small salad with some lentil stew on brown rice. Do any of these look like healthy meals? I would say if you've made that burger yourself, that's probably a healthy meal. All of these look delicious, but they are not proper for the way that we should be eating. The way we should be eating is actually different. This, friends, is a healthier lunch. Okay, so you have a nice big salad with only vegetables in it. Those are small little tomatoes in there, not cranberries. Don't put fruits on your salad, okay? After you've had a big salad that is the same size or bigger than your main course, then you have your main course. So it's like you're having dinner at lunchtime. Why is this important? Because then if you've eaten this at 2 or 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, when metabolism starts to slow down, we're in intermittent fasting mode. We had mostly vegetables, high fiber, so you're feeling full, you're not hungry. However, you've had some healing food, and now your body can go into that intermittent fasting for 16 hours without feeling super hungry, but your calories were low because your meal options were good. Does that make sense? Now, of course, I would never eat a plate of rice like that. Um, but if you are somebody who's athletic and you need a lot more calories, but if you're diabetic or you're trying to lose weight, have the salad and have your chickpeas, your sweet potato, your squash, your spinach. Have that after your meal, and you don't need a lot of carbohydrates. If you are not burning enough calories, we don't deserve to eat those kind of calories, okay? So that's the idea of a healthy lunch. Now, what does dinner look like? Well, the first thing is that after you eat that salad and cooked meal, it's like you had your own buffet. You'd wait an hour and then drink water. Never eat and drink at the same time. It dilutes your stomach enzymes. It's a mess. So wait an hour, drink water, 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 and then we're going to have a healthy dinner. You might be saying, Carolyn, I thought you said we're intermittent fasting and not having dinner. Well, some people have a misconception of what a healthy dinner is. So although these all look like healthy dinner options, I'm going to tell you the best kind. You got it. Just a cup of herbal tea. No sweetener. Okay, so that is the ideal, is that you wouldn't eat dinner. You shouldn't need dinner. I mean, some people have very active jobs and they could possibly need some dinner for sure. I know my husband's got an active job and he has a very light dinner, but his big calories are coming in the day. I don't eat dinner. I don't need to eat dinner. It's an exception to the rule if I have a special occasion or something. But on a regular basis, 99% of the time, I'm having breakfast and lunch, no dinner. You sleep better, you heal faster, your weight stays in balance, your blood sugar stays in balance. It's really phenomenal. So, one thing that I wanted to tell you also, let me just put this screen back, all these wonderful testimonies, is that intermittent fasting is great, but what is the most healing is complete fasting. Absolute abstinence of food for more than 24 hours. That's when your body really goes into fat burning mode. That's when your body actually begins to really burn stored toxins in your fat cells. So intermittent fasting is good for a lifestyle, but if you really want to have healthy longevity, you're going to need to fast for 24 hours, maybe once a week, or 36 hours, once a week, once every 2 weeks, or once a month. You're going to do a 2 or 3 day fast. Once a year, maybe you go longer. I would like you to talk to a doctor or a health practitioner before you start fasting. But complete fasting, where you're doing vegetable juices, water, herbal teas, All of these are very wonderful and necessary, I believe, for longevity. And I see it all the time. My clients heal so quickly because I get them to do regular fasting. Now, not everybody can fast. There's no question about it. Some people are on too much medication or have certain health conditions or are underweight. So like I said, talk to a health practitioner before you begin. And you don't always have to do just juice or water. That's the best. But smoothies are back at the shack, so that's pretty awesome. You could do a lower calorie, a little bit of extra calories, but you're still keeping it under 1,000 calories. And you could do a smoothie as well as some juices, or just one smoothie in the morning. Smoothies are not the best way to consume food. Make sure they're not cold. We're no longer making them frozen on the spot. They're in glass bottles. But even if you did like one salad and the rest of the day was juice, you can create a caloric deficit like that. And so I just want to remind you that there are so many people that have jumped on this challenge of intermittent fasting. And the people that I'm looking at here, arthritis down, fatty liver down, blood pressure down, weight down. So if they can do it, you can do it. And there are miracle stories every single day here. There really are. So I just want to encourage you, if you do have questions, then you can just send an email to info@energyshackjuicebar.com. Happy to answer them. If you feel like I'm so exhausted, I'm so tired, I'd love to intermittent fast, but I really need some help with it. I want someone to prepare my salads and make my meals. If you are free next week, Wednesday, the 24th, so Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, April 24th to 27th, I invite you to come with us to the Windermere House in Muskoka. We do retreats every year. So the next one will be January of next year, and after that, April of next year. So this is our very last one for 2025. So if you are interested, just go to info@energyshackjuicebar.com and send an email to us, and I would absolutely be happy to get you some information. So that's it, folks. That's intermittent fasting. That's the truth about it. If you have any questions, again, just reach out to me. That's our phone number. That's our website. That's our email. And that's our address. I would love to connect with you. And if you do need a little bit more help, just reach out to me. We do consultations and programs from anywhere in the world. God bless you guys and have a really good night.